A deeper dive into the mornings spent as a witch. I have spent the last few weeks restless sleeps in anticipation of the mornings to come. Mornings used to be so inspiring, waking to the sunlit crystals guiding me toward being alert, my dog sniffing me until I open my eyes and smile back at him ever so charmingly, reminding me of better days to come. The mornings were once full of hopes and dreams and unsolicited venting sessions of how eager I was to create some beauty, some laughs, and see those eyes. Not in a sugar-coaty kind of way, but that morning sun has never been so bright, and my mind has never felt so dark. I dread the chirping of the birds, the landscapers and their sounds of machines lurking grass to make it smell so sweet. I've had no plan until past 11. I found no charm in breakfast spreads and warm teas next to an idle pen. It was in this setting I realized something has got to give. Morning rituals as a witch who may have lost her way. Good morning, little witches. It's Bianca and welcome to my morning routine rituals video. This is not technically a morning routine, so if you're interested in seeing like a full-fledged, like from when I wake up to like when my afternoon sets in morning routine, I will have that linked up here somewhere down in the description. This in specific is just things that you can do to incorporate magic into your mornings and have a more spell-casting, witchy, exuberant morning, especially if you've been waking up a little bit meh. I'd be lying if I said I just woke up one day and things changed. This was all sparked by the simple fact of inspiration, a one singular Pinterest graphic with cute little mushroom designs and fairies disguised as symbols of positivity. I glanced by illustrations of potions and teas, and it got me thinking about how lovely my AMs would be if I just tried a little harder to get back into its spells. Its calming demeanor radiating light, a freshness of a new day. An everlasting feeling of a to-do list you're excited to complete, a loving glimpse at yourself in the mirror while you comb your bangs, a thought you cannot wait to share with a friend. The list of rituals is about 8 items long, and I am hopeful to get most done, or at least feel the energy to complete most of them in due time. To just incorporate little reminders of witchcraft into the aurora would truly make for a glimpse into the world I wish to wake up and see. We start off with a warm tea. This one is black currant buzz, and it's a loose tea, so it's extra work, but all the more worth it to let yourself do something early on. My favorite thing to incorporate into my days are when I get to use my spellcasting tools for practical uses too. This little crystal teaspoon sits alongside 4 others on my altar, and it's used in almost each of my spells, and oftentimes to stir my beverages when I don't feel like walking back to the kitchen. It's with gadgets such as these that bring me so much silly joy. It's indescribable to adore something so minute. It's wonderful to do just that. Another ritual that goes hand in hand with warm beverages each day is to make sure you are also adding herbal potions to your cup, as this will serve as an elevation in providing magic to your concoction. In my case, the loose tea already had a unique array of herbs, but if you've got a simple black tea at home, don't be afraid to jazz it up with some spices you've got in your pantry. Set that cup with good intentions, stir clockwise, and drink up the aroma you've created. Something I've been learning how to do again is incorporating loving and positive affirmations into my routine. We've all got that voice in our head that tells us how redundant we sound, how obscene your goals are, how vile your hair is looking that moment. Ignore her. Erase her. This is done by practice. This is done by journaling. This is done by speaking to yourself in a tone you'd want to speak to your best friend in, your lover, your person you haven't met yet. I went ahead and grabbed my spell book to jot down some positive affirmations I should be reciting to myself each day. You do not have to do this in a book. You can use a post-it note if you're a more visual person, stick it to your mirror, and make sure you glance at it once in a while. You can think the thoughts to yourself quietly too, if you have a roommate or someone you feel uncomfortable expressing yourself around. My affirmations were simple. You are kind, you are creative, you are loved by those who care. You will find solace. I proceeded to journal for a bit to make sure I'm keeping tabs with another important ritual, staying off of tech spaces until it is absolutely necessary. This is difficult for me, especially as I'm embarked in my phone. One of the reasons I started these rituals was because I would lie awake at both the evening and in the morning, scrolling through my phone as if anything were going to change in the mere minutes I was refreshing. I've grown too comfortable with using it for a crutch. I've grown separated from feeling like I am taking advantage of my own time. There will be mornings where I stay in bed for a full hour after I wake, just scrolling mindlessly. Nothing productive being done, no thoughts flooding my mind, no ideas to create. I had a professor once say they keep their phone on a nightstand on the other side of the room and keep a book on their bedside table. Now, granted, this was many years ago, but I still think it sets as a detail I'm willing to incorporate into my life. Imagine how many pages I could have read in an hour. Imagine how many books I could have finished. It's a game of playing catch up when you lose yourself in the notion of other people's lives. Likely, the key ritual in this routine is making sure we are cleansing our spaces. This means both internally and externally. It's developed on the basis of that if you have a clear space, you are able to have a clear mind. Me being an extremely and overly organized person by nature of both being the eldest daughter and a little bit of an anxious mess, this comes easy to me. I will happily wake up and clean my space to the point of no return. I will dust, I will declutter, I will scrub, and I will often fall into a black hole of how have I been cleaning for 2 hours? I didn't even eat breakfast yet. Obviously, this is more of a pressing issue, but it is not one for others to try and dissect. I move around my trinkets and spellcasting activities. I dust what the sunlight has left behind. I restructure certain aspects of my things, and I make sure I'm happy with the result. Cleaning, of course, is not always surface level. As I mentioned, this applies to a mindset too. Declutter your brain if you have to. Try to compartmentalize things you cannot be bothered with right now. Don't throw them away, but maybe write them down in a book to recollect later on. And when you're in the moment to tackle that thing you've been avoiding, you will actively come up with better solutions as you've waited to address it in the way that you should have. And also, just to pinpoint something here, if you need to speak to somebody about something that's bothering you and this is why your days have felt so drag, do so. Your mind is just as important and valuable as any other thing in your life, so make sure your feelings are heard and understood by those around you. It's a battle, but you'll get through it. If not, together, with me alongside you too. If you're a meditative person, you can recharge yourself with the sun's energy. I, for one, have been struggling with sitting still since I was born. It's hard for me to just idle, so it's practice rounds for me as I sit in silence in the sunlit porch, letting my mind wander and wonder all of the things that I'm happy about, all of the things I can't wait to do, all of the things I'm grateful for, and so on. The last ritual in this morning routine goes hand in hand with the last. The sun's energy and how you sit with it is followed by going for a walk or doing some movements to awaken the body and the mind. I spent a few moments in the woodsy trails just gallivanting and watching the trees shift with the shadows. The woods or the beach or the cityscape, they're both all great ways to get out and feel alive. Nature is so powerful, but if you don't have access to a space so lush, doing a lap around your home can help too. Imagine where you want to be, how you'd wish to live. And remember, as long as you're moving around and pushing yourself to just stand up each morning, you're doing something right. I hope you've had a wonderful morning and took some notes on rituals you can follow to create a wonderful morning if you genuinely haven't had one in a while. We're working on this together, and I can't wait to continue spellcasting for you. Please let me know in the comments if you want witchy specifics from me, and subscribe while you're down there, please. Have a blessed day, blessed be, love be.